very, very happy Friday. Welcome to another episode of Justin and Trey right here on the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel. Good morning to everyone. And I'm Justin. I'm your nice, friendly host here. And joining me today, we got Trey. Trey, good morning to you.
Good morning if you say it's a good morning.
Well, we'll take two because I pressed live and it didn't want to go live for some reason. And don't ask me why. The computer just doesn't want to work. They're like kids. They don't want to participate half the time. We were, before we started getting going, we were actually talking about the storm last night. And, that storm kind of hit pretty hard. I remember because I was headed back from me being away, and it was about, 8:30, 9 o'clock. And yeah, about 8 o'clock. And that storm I'm on the highway and I can't, it's so bad you can't see nothing on the streets. I ended up pulling over. I didn't get home until 10:30, 11 o'clock because that storm was so bad. Cars were you started driving and you just started sliding sideways because the wind took you. Wow. That's how bad it was. I was actually sitting at a stoplight. And I was about to get going, headed home, about to hit the highway. And I'm at a stoplight, and a lightning struck ground right across the street from where I'm staying at. And so I was like, nope, I'm going to turn myself around. I'm going to go park, and I'm going to wait until it dies down, And so, yeah, I didn't get home until, 10:30, 11 o'clock at night last night. And I love thunderstorms. I do, Trey. I really do. And there's just something about thunderstorms that just get to me. I just don't want to be in them. I'll put a chair up next to the window. I'll go sit down outside on my balcony, right? And I'll listen or watch a thunderstorm. I just don't want to be in one. Not saying that I can't be in one. I just prefer not to be in one because I'm not even worried about myself driving. I'm just worried about other people driving. You get semi trucks that is very easily unable to control what they do or don't do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then you just get those reckless drivers that think that, hey, the quicker I go, the better chance I could get home safe. And they're driving 60 miles an hour when you can't even see 2 feet in front of you.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
But we're here. It's morning. It is May 20th, and it's been a rough month. 5th month of the year, of this year, I will say. Back on Wednesday, because we had a show scheduled for Wednesday, I had to take my daughter to the doctors. Now, it's not an excuse, but throughout the rest of that was early in the morning. I had to take her out to the doctors. She, it's allergy seasons. There's asthma. There's pollen and all that stuff. So we're just trying to get them on proper medication. And then she, so that kind of took up all of my morning. And then I was busy in the afternoon. So there's just things did not go as planned as putting together a program for you on a Wednesday. Now, I knew I was going to be out of the office yesterday, so didn't do anything yesterday. And we're back today. We're going to be working on pushing out a weekend show tomorrow and Saturday. So now, from my understanding, I know you talked to me a little bit about this for tomorrow. Tomorrow and Sunday, I know tomorrow you want a certain time. I believe we'll be on here from 12 to noon.
12 to noon?
Yeah, 12 to noon. Well, 12 a.m. to noon. We're going to do a 12-hour marathon. Noon to 2. How about that?
Yes.
Both Saturday and Sunday. So, I'm happy with it.
Got NWF tomorrow.
You do. Yeah, you have a tag team match. You have the NWF champion Adam Swayze and Gideon taking on Rex and Star Rider in tag team action. Don't you have a strap match?
Yeah, I
Or
believe
was that already
so.
happen? Did that already happen?
That might have already happened.
Did it?
We have the biggest, the headliner of the show, Nikki Victory versus Joshua.
Mm-hmm.
If Nikki Victory wins, Joshua has to wear a dress for 60 days.
90 days.
90 days. And if Joshua wins, Nikki is Joshua's servant for 90 days. So that's going to be interesting.
Yeah. And you're also taking someone new. You're notorious for introducing people to NWF. You got your family into it, and then you got a couple other friends into it later on, and then now you're taking another person who you're friends with as well, and he's very excited. I knew talking to him on Wednesday. He's up in the air. He doesn't know how to accept new wrestling because, he's heard of AEW, he's heard of WWE, and when you think of professional wrestling, that's kind of like the go-to. That's what you think of.
Mm-hmm.
Out here, when you go to a local independent wrestling program, you have to be. It's different. You're up close in the action. You're more involved. I feel like independent wrestling, they get you more involved in the matches and whatnot. So you kind of get best of both worlds there. You get confrontation between fans and the professional athletes, and that's given. Which, when you go to a Monday Night Raw or an AEW Dynamite, you don't get that stuff.
Right.
So
I was actually I was the one who took him to his very first WWE event too.
Mm-hmm.
And he fell in love with going. And I really hope he enjoys it.
If you are a wrestling fan and you guys, listen, I would say this. If you enjoy wrestling and you want to watch wrestling and you're willing to broaden your how you view professional wrestling, right? Then NWF is definitely, just as much as any other local promotion, right? But, independent wrestling companies are the place to also check out because wrestling, Raw, SmackDown, Dynamite, Rampage, Impact, so forth, they only come into your town so often. Now, one thing that you notice with Dynamite, they're more regional. They're mostly East Coast. So when you'll see them multiple times in Chicago, in Florida, and New York, because those are kind of your three key elements or components for AEW right now. And as they continue, and they know that they're going to hit a big marker. Now, I believe this summer they're starting to make their way out to the West Coast and see what's that all about. But when you look at WWE, they're lucky to come in every, once or twice a year. And you really think about it, Raw and SmackDown right now are only going to big venues. They're not going to a little town in the middle of nowhere where they can afford to only have 400 or 500 people show up. They're hitting the stadiums and the arenas that are going to make them the most money. And when you think about why did Raw come down here twice in 6 months? It's because Cincinnati is a wrestling. I feel is a wrestling area. Ohio is a wrestling area, and you will get people to come from down from Louisville, from Columbus. That you get people all over the place to drive to come see, Raw or SmackDown. Same thing goes to AEW. So when you wonder why they're down here so often, it's because they make money. They're gonna have their live shows on, in cities and towns that is familiar, that's familiar by the audience. Cincinnati, Columbus, even San Diego, Los Angeles is more notorious. When they have a event down in Louisville or Lexington, that's going to be a house show because you just don't draw the same crowd as a Cincinnati. When you hear Cincinnati, you know what you're talking about. You know where it's at. When you hear Lexington, it's kind of like, okay, let's find that on the map a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But all right, it's been a couple of days. It's been a week's worth of wrestling. Friday Night SmackDown's tonight. There's a couple of things anticipating as we make our approach to Hell in a Cell. Do you know when Hell in a Cell's at, by the way?
Hell in a Cell, I think, is in Chicago.
When?
Oh, I believe it is the 19th, 18th. Has to be. I think it's the 20th because
is it June 5th?
Is it?
Is it? That's what I'm wondering because Money in the Bank is in July. And I believe that's because isn't August 7th the SummerSlam? No, July is SummerSlam, right?
Yeah, July is.
July 17th, right?
July 30th.
That's a Saturday.
It is June 5th.
Which is coming up here in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Think about it.
Wow.
So there's a lot to talk about as we approach that. Tonight we will see the unification match for the tag team titles. RK Bro will go up against the Usos, part of the Bloodline. All right, 2/3 of the Bloodline there. And this is to unify the tag team titles. I've already expressed to you my opinions that this should not be happening, but they're going to do it anyways. Now, you're already calling, if I'm not mistaken, that some shenanigans are going to be taking place throughout this match, which will lead up to a potential Hell in a Cell match at Hell in a Cell for them.
Yes. Because Roman is not scheduled for Hell in a Cell. He has no match. I think it will be a rematch. At Hell in a Cell. Yes.
Inside a Hell in a Cell to unify those tag team titles. Now,
yes.
I have to, at the end of this, after all this is said and done, because I kind of just feel like having those titles brought on, having those titles being unified on a live show, I feel is a little unorthodox for WWE to hold. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so when doing something to push it back to Hell in a Cell, yeah, I think, you've done something good by trying to say, hey, we're unifying the titles tonight. Come make sure you watch us because, I believe, what else also starts tonight on Fox not on Fox, but I think it's on NBC that's going up against SmackDown for the next month or two.
Is it the XFL?
No.
I know it has to do something with The Rock.
Yeah. So what is going on that at the same time of SmackDown? Don't cheat. Don't.
I don't have my phone. Is it Young Rock?
The Young Rock, yes. I mean, I've actually already watched the entire second season on Peacock. And I would advise that, or suggest that, you probably take a look at it when you get a chance. I know the first season was, the introduction. Now, I feel like this is a weird combination because you have somebody who what do you want to call it? You have The Rock in like the like 10, 15 years from now trying to run for mayor or for president, right? And he is telling his backstory, like his biography growing up as a child, and so you get these cut scenes of him, with somebody talking about the campaign, and then everything that's going on. So it hits differently, but if you want to know, I'm always a big fan of learning about the past, especially in professional wrestling, and I'm a big fan of like hearing those stories, like how did this come across, how did that come across, and when Dwayne Johnson's given us that insight, it's kind of like I don't know how much of it is true to how much of it is. I mean, I know some of it's probably stretched out or threw in there because it has to fill in time. But I mean, they have like you get in this season, you get to see Andre the Giant. There's a guy who plays Andre the Giant. There's a guy in one of the episodes he goes fishing with him, and he starts. They go between his teenage days where he wants to get into the business to his younger days, learning about school, falling in love for the first time, this and that. And so it really takes you on a past, especially getting to know Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. So I don't know. I mean, you said you watched a little bit of season 1.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to give it another chance and maybe watch, a couple episodes of season 2 and see if you get into it again?
I mean, I definitely would because it's The Rock.
I feel like, this is kind of like a perfect timing that these two, this show's going up with SmackDown right now because everything that's going on between Roman, the Bloodline, and the rumors about, Roman Reigns and The Rock at WrestleMania next year. I don't know where this could lead to. I've been told there's Easter eggs inside of them I haven't seen yet, but I mean, I wouldn't say like this is. I don't want to devalue credit to young Rock, but I wouldn't be like, all right, I have to watch this live. When it happens, set your DVR, sign over to Peacock if you have WWE Network, and get and watch an episode or two. I put it on before bed. If I don't finish it, I just put it back where I left off at, So.
Yeah, I definitely watched Young Rock. I'm not the full season. I can't remember where I left off, but I know I watched quite a bit of the episodes. It's me and my grandpa, for some reason, were watching it.
Yeah. Well, I recommend it. Like I said, if you guys, and not just you, Trey, but anyone else out there, recommend watching it. All right, so we'll talk a little bit more about the tag team match today. I want to we're going to take our first break. When I come back, I guess a great way to start off is Monday. Let's kick things off and let's take us back to Monday. A couple of positive things, a couple of negative things happened on Monday that we should probably have open for discussion. So we'll do all that and more. Justin and Trey here is provided, and thanks to StreamYard. StreamYard Studios is the where you can create podcasts, YouTube videos, host of virtual business meetings, and even conduct interviews. Check out their free version today at StreamYard.com. All right, let's take a time out. We'll come back. Justin and Trey continues here on the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel. Epic Countdown doesn't want to work. We'll pop it back up to a break. Justin Trey here on the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel. You weren't hearing any music in the background, were you?
I actually was.
You were? I guess I'm not. Maybe I just didn't have it up loud enough. I don't know. We'll see. I didn't hear it. So, all right. Listen. Let's. I want to kick off on Monday. I feel like that's just the only appropriate way to start our conversation on today. Is kick things off by what happened Monday, and I'm not talking about the match between Bobby Lashley and Omos, which I thought was a really good match. But it's more about the whole what happened before the show. Now, Trey, I'm pretty sure you probably know more about this. I've read speculation. So, do you want to? I want you to walk us into what happened Monday night before Raw.
Before Raw? What happened before Raw?
You know what I'm talking about. It's been the conversation of the week.
Oh, that's
I'm gonna wake you up there. Yeah.
So the main event was supposed to be, or was scheduled to be, a 6-pack challenge, and the winner got a championship match against Bianca Belair at Hell in a Cell. And apparently, what rumors are and speculation is that Sasha Banks and Naomi was talking to producers, such as Molly Holly was the name that came up, and they told Sasha and Naomi what was going on, what the plan was, what the finish was, and they didn't like it, so they had requested a meeting with Vince, and apparently they got that, but they also had John Laurinaitis in there too.
I don't want to be mean on John Laurinaitis, but I feel like each time I've heard negative things about John Laurinaitis, and there's been a lot of things that I've heard claiming that he's not necessarily big about the women's division in wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying I don't like John Laurinaitis. I'm not a huge fan of his work. But he's doing something right if he's in the company. But yeah, whenever you hear about John Laurinaitis, I get worried that, when you have John Laurinaitis and women's wrestling mentioned in the same sentence, that's when I get worried the most.
Right. So apparently, Sasha and Naomi was furious because the meeting didn't go as planned, and they tossed their titles on the desk or at Laurinaitis. I don't know which one it was, and walked out and left the arena. Apparently, what I'm gathering is that Sasha Banks was going to be Ronda Rousey's number one contender and at Hell in a Cell, and Naomi was going to fight Bianca at Hell in a Cell. I could see why they feel disrespected, because they've held these championships since was it WrestleMania, and I think they've only defended it once.
Mm-hmm.
But they're supposed to be a tag team, the tag team champions. Why are they going against the other top stars? They should be more focused on their titles.
Well, I don't have a problem with them working with the Raw or Women's Championship on their brand. Now, you got to remember that this here, the women's tag team division was created back when they had a good amount of probably 30 to 40 women on the roster. And they it was to give them something more to fight for, give women more on put more on television. And when they started this out, they went back and forth between Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. NXT now has their own NXT women's tag team championship. Now, I kind of miss the old days. I kind of miss the days where they first started out and they first had, they used to have to go to brand to brand to brand. I don't like them. This was a title that did not need to be extinguished, just, to Raw, to SmackDown, and separated from NXT. Right? If you are not anticipating, what type of person or what type of work or help a person like Naomi or Sasha Banks can do in NXT if they went down there every other week and defended those titles. You talk about guys like Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Mandy Rose, who went back down. Ember Moon went back down to NXT for a period of time. Those guys helped NXT talent become better, and I didn't see the reason why they couldn't do that. And here's the other thing with the women's tag team division. When you brought it out to NXT and you just make it one, like a trio circle, right? Mm-hmm. You could put the titles on NXT females who you think that could be ready for the main roster, and put them in matches on the main roster, right? To defend those titles and give them that shot, right? It's about growing. It's about opportunity. And that's an opportunity. Now, I've already, listen, you and I are huge supporters of female wrestling. I think that they've done a tremendous job to the industry in the last decade. Mm-hmm. And they are still growing. We're still seeing they're still seemingly to surprise us, somehow to surprise us. And I don't blame Sasha Banks and Naomi for what they did. Like you said, they're tag team champions. They deserve to be in the spotlight of their own. They shouldn't be working underneath somebody. Now, I understand once in a while, hey, you're gonna go work with Bianca Belair, but I get that. But I think there's an image that is shown when your top talent already holds titles and now fighting for other titles. For example, we'll go because I guess we're going back around to the unification match tonight.
Yep.
The only reason why the Usos are facing Arcade Bros is because they got nobody else on that roster. But you know why they don't have nobody else on that roster is because the New Day, Sheamus, Ridge Holland, Butch, they're always competing. I mean, it's been like for the past 2.5 months they've been competing with each other inside that ring. I bet you anything we're going to see the same thing happen again tonight. Either Kofi Kingston or Xavier Woods is going to go up with one of the members, or better yet, they're going to be another tag team match. I'm getting sick and tired of that match, like you are.
I've been sick of it. I think last week it was Kofi versus Butch, I believe.
Yes.
And I'm sick and tired of it. And it seems like this has been going on since even before Big E got injured. And now they've just been shoving it down our throats since that happened.
And I don't know myself, where else can we go to among this? Like, what else can you tell with this? I mean, I understand, the whole revenge story up until WrestleMania. But what more do you need? That's my question.
I mean, I'm done with it.
I feel like they're just using it to fill in space. I don't quite know anyone else on that roster that can they can move on to besides the Usos in this aspect.
And I've got a great idea. Get rid of that match and give Ricochet that spotlight.
Yeah. I mean, he's working with, I believe if I'm not mistaken, he's working with Sami Zayn right now. or he's kind of teasing. I don't know the ins and outs. But whatever happened to Angel Garza and Humberto?
They're on Raw.
They're on Raw now. Were they on SmackDown?
Yes.
What happened? Was that part of that later trade that Big E came over for?
I forgot who they just based. They literally just based somebody on Raw, and I can't remember who it was.
Were they on the 2-on-1 handicap with Veer Mahan?
I don't think so.
Think of that about that, but you know,
So
we could sit here and say that the WWE, part of me sits here and says, great, Naomi, Sasha Banks, go on, you deserve the best, do what you got to do. Obviously they didn't strip the titles from them yet. So I mean, I feel like there's a part of me today where I feel like, there should be zero tolerance for wanting to be better. And if you're not going to put me in a better position, then what am I doing here?
Exactly.
And I question that. And like I said, no disrespect to John Laurinaitis. I'm sure he's a great guy. I don't have any problems with him. I mean, other than the fact that each time there's something negative with the women's division, he seems to be in the picture. And he's usually on the opposite side, fighting, against, whatever that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So, but here's the story that I think a lot of people are speculating, and that's what I want to hear from you. Is this a work that Sasha Banks and Naomi's pulling off, knowing that this could potentially lead? I don't know where Sasha Banks will fit into this. Naomi is relatively related, but a work to join the bloodline at some point.
I mean, Naomi, I don't know. I don't know about Naomi, but Sasha Banks, she's done it before. It's on her track record. When Bayley and Sasha had them tag team titles and they were forced to lose, Sasha took her ball and ran home. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, it could be a work. Everybody's thinking it's not.
Well, I mean, okay. So let me ask you this, because Naomi and Sasha Banks, their career stands for itself. Mm-hmm. They are champions in I believe they've both been champions at some point. Yes. And now they're given the tag team gold. And I feel like for a moment that the tag team titles are on the right hands, because you had Carmella, you had Zelina. They put them to the wayside. As soon as they got the titles, they were not on TV every week. And when they were, it was either Naomi or Zelina or back and forth. You know what I'm saying? Like, It wasn't, they weren't given that proper, reign that they should have had. And, okay, so look at prior to that. Did Nikki, ASH, and Rhea Ripley have a proper title run also?
I don't. Obviously, I think they defended it a little more. I'm not going to say they had a good title reign or a proper title reign. I can't even tell you the last two tag teams, or a couple tag teams who had a proper title reign with them.
Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler?
It could be.
Was that? I mean, was that even a proper title reign?
I don't know. Maybe going back to Sasha Banks and Bayley.
Has there ever really been, ever since the existence of these women's tag team titles, has there ever been a proper title reign?
I'm going to say no. I mean, going back to what you said earlier, is when they first came in, the rule was they would be defended on every show, all 3 shows.
Yeah.
When Bayley and Sasha first got them, they went down to NXT. They went to Raw. They went to SmackDown.
The first winners, by the way.
Yes. And ever since they lost them, I mean, there's been the title holders have barely defended them. That rule is not taking place anymore. I mean, why is these titles even there?
I'm acceptable that if you had a title that had to be defended on both brands, I understand when we talk about, okay, well, you need to, here's a 3-month stretch for you to go after these titles, right? And we're going to work you for 3 months. You're going to do less house shows, but you're going to do more live shows and defend them almost in every episode between Raw, NXT, SmackDown. And then after 3 months, we're going to give it to somebody else because we need to continue growing this championship, right?
Right.
That's what I would have done and said, all right, when you're ready, I'm going to call you into my office. I'm going to sit you down. I'm going to say, hey, listen, we're going to put the titles on you, but this is what comes with it. And there's no backing out once you go. And unless you get injured. And your injury must be medically like it has to be medically proven where you can't compete with us. You know what I'm saying? Where the doctors don't sign off. Right? I kind of feel in that sense that's where, how that title picture should have been held towards.
I'm going to put this out there, and it's going to be terrible. Armchair Brooklyn will even think it's terrible, but did you know the 24/7 championship has been defended more times than any other championships on Raw and SmackDown?
Okay.
That's terrible.
Don't say that as a excitement thing. Like, it's not. The reason why it's being is, first of all, I never liked the 24/7 championship. I never understood the concept of it. And then they made a mediocrity out of it right off the bat. Now, the only thing that kept it alive was R-Truth. You know that.
Yeah, and Jake Maverick.
No, R-Truth. R-Truth has single-handedly carried that title. Because you know why? Here, I'll tell you a good reason why before we go to break. The reason why is because R-Truth has been in every storyline picture with that 24/7 championship.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for R-Truth, do you really think Drake Maverick would be able to do what he did?
No.
There you go. Case settled. Just don't take it. It's being defended. Yeah, that's what the purpose of that is. But I don't consider it as a title. I don't really consider it as a title.
I mean, I'm not saying it as excitement. But I'm just saying that some of the mid-card titles should be defended more.
We'll talk. Why don't we go to break? We'll come back and talk about that. Justin and Trey continues here after this quick break. No. Turn it on. There we go. Can you hear all that?
Yes.
Thought I had it all set up until. All right. I had to get myself a drink and blow my nose, and I'm ready to go. You waking up there, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Trying to. Fair enough. All right, you make a valid point right before we went into break, and that's talking about the titles, the undercard title reigns. One thing that I want to put it to you in this sense. I don't know how you'll take it. So, as much as I don't like those two main titles being unified together at WrestleMania, because I'm still not a fan of that. I didn't like it. I didn't like it to begin with. Still don't like it now. And you already know why. Because Roman Reigns is not... Roman Reigns, when you hold two titles, you have to go on both brands. That's the bottom line. It's point blank and simple. No?
Yes.
When Roman Reigns holds both championships in his hands, and yet again, he's only on SmackDown. It's been 7 weeks, and I'm counting the time since he has not been on Raw since. Since then, right?
All right.
So you're leaving Raw to hang. Now, I don't mind. I feel like if you hold both titles, you have to be able to go back and forth. That is your responsibility. You're building Roman Reigns up as this face of the company. You're giving him the responsibility for it, but he's not upholding his end of the bargain. Because you're more worried about what Fox thinks of you than worry about keeping your relationship with the USA Network. They haven't combined the titles to make it one. And if WWE decides to make another unique title for Raw, which I'm hoping for, doesn't that ruin the entire reason why they unified the titles to begin with? Because coming into WrestleMania, they made it crucial and made it, they've emphasized the fact that if Roman Reigns was better and was good enough to have both titles, he was going to, that title that he had, that Brock Lesnar had, wasn't nothing. Right? It should have been his. So now it's his. But wouldn't that be the same thing if they make a new title on Raw? Now there's a title that is replaced that Brock Lesnar used to have. Now, shouldn't Roman Reigns have that title also?
Yep. And I don't think it would be.
So what do? You're voting unify the titles. So what do? You have to have them on both brands. But here's what you do in the meantime, because we could go back and forth all day. Unifying the main titles is a good thing. You know why? If you play it right, it's a good thing. I'll say that, because then you have your upcoming titles like your your United States Championship, your Intercontinental Championship. Those titles are the titles that should be main eventing your show then. Right?
And yes, and they barely been defended.
They've barely been defended. You're absolutely right. Now, there's nothing wrong with Ricochet or Austin Theory, and I don't care how long, whatever his name is. I call him Austin Theory because that's who he is by mine. Like, he should be given a first name, last name. There you go. Okay. But so I don't have a problem with them having the titles. I don't. Do you?
No.
What I have a problem with is in them not highlighting them. Make them the main event of the show. Because that way you're distracting everyone else from not seeing the main title. Plus you're giving them, the IC. For example, here's a prime example. The IC title. Notorious title. Great title. It's been there's a long, rich history alongside the IC title. So, I mean, why not? Ricochet has not really defended that title. I mean, and against mediocre people. Ricochet should be, the IC title should be going up against Sheamus. Should be going up against Kofi Kingston. Should be going up against Sami Zayn. Yeah, I agree with you. Sami Zayn. They should be going up against Ridge Holland and Shinsuke Nakamura.
Hey, give Butch a title shot. I like his craziness. He reminds me of an unhinged Dean Ambrose.
I like Butch. I just don't like his name.
Right.
He's playing the character very well. You know?
Like, Ricochet has defended that title more times than Austin Theory. And if you're building Theory up to be another top star, why isn't he defending it? I mean, SummerSlam, he's supposed to have a huge match.
Right.
But is he even built up enough to even face a legend like him?
Right. I mean,
for God's sakes, he's supposed to be facing the 16-time world champion at SummerSlam.
Right. Well, who's facing?
Austin Theory is rumored to have
a John Cena?
United States Championship with John Cena. Is he even built up enough to face John Cena?
Yes, he is. I would love to see that match. No, you wouldn't like it?
I mean, of course I'm going to like it. But
no,
I feel...
Listen, I think he's built up. Don't tell me he's not. Austin Theory is built up for that match. Give it to him. He's faced Brock Lesnar. He's went one-on-one. He's encountered Stone Cold Steve Austin. He went up against Pat McAfee. He's worked alongside Vince McMahon. He's done everything in the books. He's ready. He's faced Cody Rhodes. He's won the U.S. title, beaten Finn Balor, which, by the way, let's not forget, was the inaugural Universal Champion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so why is he not ready to face a guy like John Cena? He's built, and that's just continues building him.
I mean, I just feel like he needs to have more title reigns. I mean, title defenses.
Okay, maybe he will have a title defense or two prior to that. He's already faced Cody Rhodes. How much bigger can you get on that roster right now? He's beaten Finn Balor, who is your face for that title. He's faced Cody Rhodes. He beat Cody Rhodes
by disqualification.
He still won, though.
I mean,
so who else does he have to face on that roster?
He's got people like Kevin Owens. He's got people like Seth Rollins.
Owens and Austin Theory are heels.
Right.
So they can't face each other.
I mean,
Seth
Bobby Lashley, him in that match.
Bobby Lashley's bigger than U.S. title.
So is John Cena.
But John Cena's the one to come back around when things get out of hand, right?
He's
the guy to come around to save the day. And I think what was the first title that John Cena won?
United States Championship.
There you go. That's his money championship. He's that Hulkamania of WWE in this era. I mean, he did the same thing when he had to face Rusev, right?
Yeah.
So, and what title did he beat at WrestleMania?
The United States Championship.
United States Championship. Hold integrity to the title. So, John Cena, Austin Theory, sign me up. I'll watch that match at SummerSlam, and that would be an exciting match. And I think that would I'm not even thinking about what it would do for John Cena. What would it do for Austin Theory just to get in the ring with John Cena? You're talking about a guy, I mentioned this to you last weekend. You talk about a guy who has had the biggest year of a professional wrestling career. He's done more than any other talent in both AEW and WWE combined. No?
I mean, yeah. I mean, he for God's sake,
when was the last time someone's gotten a chance to work with Vince McMahon, go last 5 minutes with Brock Lesnar, share the spot, carry Pat McAfee, stand toe-to-toe with Stone Cold Steve Austin, win a title after that, followed by going in the ring with Cody Rhodes, who's now a bigger name than you can anticipate. Who else in that short period of time? Who else has ever done that? I'm waiting.
I don't know. I mean, recently, nobody.
Case settled. Name me somebody, please. What does did you see Armchair's booking? I don't know. I'm gonna put that up.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me address this. I do believe that they should be defending titles.
Yeah.
But I feel like right now the WWE's priorities are not straight. Not because they don't want them to be, but because I feel like they are. Okay, let me ask you this. If they take the title off of Roman Reigns, which I feel like they should, will the viewership go down?
I mean, me personally, I don't think there's nobody right now that brings in that the ratings like Roman. So right. I do believe that ratings would go down if
knowing that he's not that he's going to be more selective on his appearances.
I definitely think so. But I also feel like people are going to be tuning in to see what Roman does and acts like when he does indeed lose his titles. Is he going to be out to destroy SmackDown? Or he's going to come back and just absolutely destroy people to get his title back?
So, okay. We got to cut to break, but I want to ask you, here's something we can roll over. So, you talk about Roman Reigns coming in and destroying people.
Mm-hmm.
Let me be honest with you. The way that the WWE has pictured Roman Reigns, especially the last 6 months, is that he backs away from a challenge. Okay, I'm sorry. How often did he run away from Brock Lesnar?
Many times.
And has he defended his title since then? Is he looking to defend his title since then? As a matter of fact, no. He's actually looking for his family to do more with the title work.
Yes.
So, please explain to me, how is he going to come back around and destroy everyone if he backs away from everybody?
Because I feel like these championships are what makes him the head of the table.
No.
And
that's so okay. I'm going to leave you on that. Think about this when you break. They are not the face of the company. If the only thing that keeps them up is the championship match, is the champions that they hold. That's it. Think about that. Justin and Trey returns. Hour number 2 coming up next here on TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel. All right. Hour number 2 of Justin and Trey. It's brought to you by SeatGeek. Next time you guys get your next event, go out to a sporting event, go out to a concert, whatever, be sure to check out SeatGeek.com. And when you use your promo code TNC Sports Talk, you guys can save 20% off on your first purchase for $50 or more. That's 20% off of your first purchase, $50 or more at SeatGeek.com with promo code TNC Sports Talk. It is getting warm out here. Hour number 2 here, Justin and Trey. It's warm. I'm not. It's already like in the mid 80s, and it's supposed to jump up to the 90s later on this afternoon. And the one thing I really hate about the weather around here is that, like, living in San Diego and California, the West Coast, the peak of your temperature, the peak of your, heat happens around 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. Out here, it happens like 4 or 5, even 6. So when you're supposed to be relaxing, you can't relax. You're dealing with this heat. And then you're getting all sticky. I'm really trying not to use the AC. Really try not to. But, all right, so you make this. Okay. I really want to figure this out. I know Roman Reigns is considerably the face of the company right now. But just how big is he? All right, I think we talked about this yet again a couple of days ago, right?
Yeah.
Roman Reigns, I don't think is as big as Brock Lesnar. I don't think Roman Reigns is as big as John Cena. Has Roman Reigns sold as much merchandise as John Cena?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Has Roman Reigns made that big of an impact on as Brock Lesnar does each time he comes back? Each time Brock Lesnar makes an appearance, he carries an aura with him. Now, Roman Reigns has an aura alongside him, but is he as big as Brock Lesnar?
No.
Is Roman Reigns... is Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes at the same level?
That's interesting to think about. I'm gonna put out there that they're about on the same level.
Okay, so how can he be on the face of the company only have 2 guys on the same level?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, going back in the early 2000s, you had a couple top stars too, about at the same level.
You always had that one guy that got pushed more than others,
right? But you still had a couple more top stars, such as
right. But see, isn't Cody getting pushed just as much as Roman Reigns?
I don't think
because right now, no, he's getting pushed the same. You know why? Because right now it's not Roman Reigns trying to go after the tag titles. The Usos are. So the Usos are technically getting that push. So what is Roman Reigns doing?
And waiting on a good challenge.
There's 1,000 of them. We've already talked about who could challenge Shinsuke. Should have been Shinsuke last pay-per-view, right? Yeah. Should have been Drew McIntyre. Could have been Sheamus, Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods again.
I mean, I think he's waiting on. I really do think he's waiting on a good opponent.
Okay,
a broadly opponent.
Okay, but see, this is when I'm getting lost, because you and I know Roman Reigns is not the level of John Cena. You know why? Because when John Cena held that title, he challenged anyone any time of the week.
Yeah. Open challenge.
Even if it was a John Doe.
Yeah. I was going to say.
But you're telling me Roman Reigns is better than John Cena, which is a lie.
I mean, I never said Roman was better. Obviously, in my favorites, my top babes, Roman is on top.
I can't put Roman on top because he doesn't carry himself that way. He carries himself like he's better than everyone else, and
he's the head of the table.
So
I'm gonna be the heel in this situation.
No.
Roman is the head of the table.
Let's be honest. Okay, so he's the head of the table. But it wasn't him that made him the head of the table. It was Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
Paul Heyman was the one who organized the bloodline. Paul Heyman was the one who got them the titles. Paul Heyman was the one who got them the main event WrestleMania. Paul Heyman is the head of the table.
I mean, if you think about it,
what has Roman Reigns done by himself? And was he that much of a success by himself? He was not. He was never going to get over until he worked with Paul Heyman.
That's very true.
Disagree with me. Disagree with me.
I'm not, because John
Cena didn't need Paul Heyman to get over, and look where he's at. Okay, yeah, we're upset that he's going to the movies, but he's older. Okay, we have to understand his wrestling days are winding down. Okay, but John Cena, he did things. It's not just what you do in the ring; it's what you do outside the ring. He's made the most to make a risk, deals with anyone else. He sells the most. He's the most current active one that sells the most merchandise. Still, okay. I mean, he has a bigger contract than anyone. So come on, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar gets even if he's coming, people come just to see Brock Lesnar. People don't always come just to see Roman Reigns. He's one of the guys people want to come to see, but those ticket prices go out of the roof when Brock Lesnar's on that card.
Yeah,
and it doesn't matter who he faces, but when Roman Reigns, it matters who's on the card still.
Just like the legendary was John Cena, he's still there because they can't do their job.
That's why Brock Lesnar's there.
And that's why I feel like WWE is so into part-timers, because the active wrestlers aren't doing their jobs. But really, is it really the wrestlers' fault? Or is it Vince McMahon's fault for not giving them the right opportunities?
Roman Reigns has gotten the perfect opportunity, and has he gotten there yet? No.
I mean, how hasn't he? He's had the championship for over 600 days.
Realistically, Trey, be real with me. Yeah, the WWE has given him titles. The WWE has made him a biggest fraction in the WWE right now. The WWE has given him the slogans, the t-shirts, the trademarks, everything you could possibly given to be successful. Is he that successful, though? Really? Is he bigger than John Cena?
No.
Is he bigger than Hulk Hogan?
No.
Is he bigger than Brock Lesnar?
No.
The WWE can hand you their company on a silver platter, but it's up to you and what you do with it. And it's how you get the fans. Does the WWE universe, every single WWE universe, enjoy Roman Reigns? I doubt it.
I mean, not everybody.
Yes, but everybody, okay, between kids, between women, between adults, between elderly, everybody enjoyed, either they hated him to his guts, or they beloved him like he was a superhero to John Cena. Not everyone feels the same way or has that shared opinion about Roman Reigns. I'm sorry. Until you get that point, and let's not forget, Roman Reigns has been wrestling for 10 years in the WWE. He's been with the business for a decade. It took him 10 years to get where he's at. With the talent that was on the roster in the WWE back 20 years ago, how long did it take John Cena? Less than 5. Less than 5. And don't forget, he giving up guys like The Big Show, JBL, Chris Jericho, Batista, he went up against The Undertaker, Kurt Angle. He went up against best of the best.
He did.
So WWE's handed Roman Reigns everything. I'm not convinced that the fan base, that every single fan base that's a WWE fan has a yay or nay against Roman Reigns. Therefore, he's not the best. He's not. It's not like he's not the best. He's very good at it.
Do you like Roman?
No, I got no opinion.
You don't?
On him, actually. Okay, because when you ask me to think about this, I think of, do I like him or do I like what the position that the story that the WWE is telling? And I like the story that they're telling, but do I like what he's doing? No.
Do you like him as a wrestler, not what he's into now?
No.
Whatever.
No.
He's not any of your favorite.
He never sold me. Seth Rollins sold me. Austin Theory sold me.
Austin Theory of all people.
Omos is selling me higher than Roman Reigns.
What? Roman would smash him in any day.
I'm not worried about if he's smashing him or not, but he's learning. He's becoming better. I mean, I'm sitting here and I'm talking to you about Roman Reigns being better than John Cena. Yeah, they're not, or Brock Lesnar or even Hulk Hogan. He's not at the same level. He's not even close at the same level.
I don't think he's in the same category as them.
Below. I'm talking about way below. I'm talking about Roman Reigns is in the garbage can.
He is not in the garbage can.
Okay, he's on the top of the garbage can. Let me put it that way.
He's sitting below the legends. He's right below all them.
And I'm running out of. I don't even know if beating a guy like The Rock at WrestleMania next year will do that for me. I'm being honest.
Roman Reigns has always been my guy. I don't know why.
I'm not saying, yeah.
I've
ever Goldberg has always been your guy.
He has. Goldberg, yes. But ever since Roman came in with the Shield, Roman's been my guy.
Right.
And then
I think that everyone, first of all, Roman Reigns is the one who stole Batista's move in the powerbomb, and he stole Goldberg's move with the spear. Didn't he steal the Superman punch? And realistically, what the hell did a Superman punch do?
Knock you in the mouth. I mean, if somebody came up to you right now and no. Big Show does not do a Superman.
Jumping up in the air. If Roman Reigns is running at me, jumping up just to punch me, I would duck out of the way.
I mean, I'm just saying, yes, Roman Reigns has been pushed down to everybody's. Roman has been Vince McMahon's top guy,
right,
since he came in.
So you're calling him the face of the company when he doesn't have it all.
I mean, I think he is the top guy. There's nobody out there in WWE that is a bigger draw right now.
Seth Rollins draws the same. Seth Rollins draws the same crowd as Roman Reigns. Cody Rhodes draws the same crowds as Roman Reigns. You're telling me that more at Cavalcade next year, if Roman Reigns showed up compared to Cody Rhodes, that more people will show up for Roman Reigns?
I mean, I think it's going to be a packed house either way.
So why can't you throw Cody Rhodes in that mix? Because he's drawing the same crowd. AJ Styles draws that same crowd. Bobby Lashley draws that same crowd. RK Bro draws that same crowd.
You like people been saying, you have to have that one guy.
One guy. You have to have that one guy, but that one guy he needs to also win the fans over. Listen, the WWE can make anybody that one guy. I mean, he could make Reggie that one guy if they wanted to, but he has to win the fans over. And let me tell you something: R-Truth has more fan base than Roman Reigns.
I mean, he's a heel. Roman is a heel.
Yeah, so how can you have a heel as a face of a company?
I mean, why don't you ask Brock Lesnar?
Brock Lesnar was a face. Well, he was not a face of the company at any point.
He was a heel and he was a top champion.
He was not the face of the company, though.
The Rock turned his back on everybody, and he was a top guy.
Right, but The Rock had that it factor. Roman Reigns doesn't have that it factor.
He's a heel. He's doing his job on making people hate him.
The Rock turned his back, and you also had Stone Cold Steve Austin that went face that also took his place. So your face of the company is a face, right? Is in WWE the face of a professional wrestling company? Your face of the company is a baby face, right? You can't have a heel as your face.
Why
you
not?
Cannot name me one heel. Name me one heel that was a heel and was the face of the company.
Hulk Hogan.
No.
He was in NWO, bro. He was a heel.
And you wonder what happened. Yeah, and that was WCW. You wonder what happened in WCW? It failed.
I mean,
The Rock was not the face of the company when he went heel.
I mean, Stone Cold turned a heel.
No,
when he was feuding with the boss. Yes, he was.
He was the face over it.
He joined was it Vince McMahon? He turned heel there for a while. Yes, I might not grown up in the 90s.
Okay, so this is what happened. Remember what happened to John Cena when he was forced to join the Nexus?
Yeah.
Remember what happened to Daniel Bryan when he was forced to join the Wyatt family?
Yep.
So that's what happened. Okay. Was Roman forced to join any faction?
No.
So Stone Cold, John Cena, Bryan Danielson, closest thing I could think of, were faces at the time when they were forced to do something they weren't supposed to. Well, didn't want to, right? So how does that relate to Roman Reigns?
I just
was
think,
JBL the face of the WWE when he was running his heel?
He was the face of SmackDown, yes.
No, he was not.
Who wasn't?
You had Eddie Guerrero. You had Chris Benoit. You had Edge, who was also a face at the time. You had The Undertaker. Kane, Batista. Want me to continue?
And that's many people. You have to have one.
Okay.
JBL is a wrestling god, and he was the top
Okay.
of SmackDown there for a
You
while.
say SmackDown. What about WWE at the time?
It was John Cena.
There you go. So, who's your face of Raw right now?
Cody Rhodes.
Who is the face of SmackDown?
Of course, Roman.
Okay. Who's the face of WWE?
Roman.
Can't have a heel as a face. Not working.
Why can't you?
He's not getting over.
Okay. Who's the head of the table, the face of NWF? Hollywood Swayze. Guess what? He's a heel. Case closed.
He's not the face of the NWF.
I think he is. Who else is?
He doesn't run the show.
Who does? And it's sure heck ain't Sinclair.
Rex?
And Rex isn't a top guy. Yes.
He's not.
When he comes in, he explodes the roof. He does. But I think your champions do.
So you think the champion is the face of the company?
Yes.
But you know what happens when you have heel champions as the face of the company, heel people as face of the company? It doesn't work out.
I mean, Hollywood's working out just fine.
It's not Hollywood, though.
I mean, should I go to NWF tomorrow and ask Chris Harris who's the face of the
I think
company?
that is a good question to really figure out. Who does Chris Harris or even Roger think the face of the NWO is right now?
Yeah, I think that's a great.
I mean, I would like to know, because if that's the case, then I think that there should be some renegotiation on what's going on in NWF. I mean, am I wrong?
I think you are.
Tell me a wrestling promotion that is working with the heel as a face of the company.
NWF, WWE.
WWE. He's not the face of the company. Does he check out that five list? Does he sell the most merchandise?
He doesn't even have much. He's so good he doesn't even have much.
No. Brock Lesnar has merchandise. Everyone has merchandise. I'm saying
Hollywood.
No, I'm talking about Roman Reigns.
Oh no.
So, I mean, is he leading WWE in the most?
Let's look at the WWE app. It goes in order who sells the most merch. Oh, look at that. It's Roman Reigns everywhere. Oh yeah. It's Roman Reigns. Then Brock Lesnar. Then it's Cody Rhodes. Then it's The Undertaker. What I'm trying to say is Roman Reigns is the guy. He is the person to beat. And I only think there's one man that can stop him.
Stone Cold Steve Austin still sells the most. And then it's John Cena.
Those are legends. Active wrestlers today. I guarantee it's Roman.
Let me throw this out there. Here's that list right here. Stone Cold, John Cena, Alexa Bliss, Bianca Belair, and then Roman Reigns.
Really?
That's what I got.
Roman, I still feel that Roman is the man. And if you're gonna come into WWE, I'm looking to beat Roman. I want to be that top guy.
No. There's a lot better matches I would much rather have than facing Roman Reigns. You know why? Because Roman Reigns is going to come in there and he's going to back out of a challenge. He's going to try to have his bloodline get one over you. I want a authentic wrestling match.
That's why you don't come alone.
I don't want something to change when someone gets a little boo-boo. When his ego gets a little hurt.
That's why you don't come alone.
No. I mean, if you're going to be the face of the company, you need to do it alone. So let me ask you this before we cut a last break. Is the Bloodline the face of the company, or is Roman Reigns alone the face of the company? You want to think about that?
Yeah.
Think about that. We'll come right back. Justin and Trey continues here on TNC Sport Talk YouTube channel.
Push your limits with you right now. Gotta get it right now. Yeah, push your limits with you right now. Gotta get it right now. Yeah, push your limits with you right now.
All right, Justin and Trey here continues our very intellectual conversation. I want to know from you, Trey. I really do. I understand that we want to throw ourselves out there as putting Roman Reigns as the face of the WWE. All right. The problem I have is that he's still not at the level as a John Cena or as a Roman Reigns. He is not that it factor that it's a must-see yet. And when you got okay, let me give you my pros on Roman Reigns. He does have an aura around him. When you see him walk through the court curtain, although his entrance is so dreadfully long, it's longer than the Undertaker's. Okay, but when he has a presence. Is it a big presence? No. Is it a presence where you should be watching him and see what he has to say? Yes. Okay. When he could come into arena, stand in the middle of a ring, acknowledge the city he's in, and then say acknowledge me and people are behind him. Great. Love him. But he's not the only wrestler in the WWE that could do that. Okay? Fair with me? Yeah. I also like how he's a people's person. Okay. But I feel maybe the direction that they're putting him in. So they kept on trying to push him as the face of the company. And he kept on struggling. And by the time the fans liked him, they thought a lot of them hated him. Okay. Mm-hmm. John Cena didn't take that route. Everyone loved him to begin with. And then people started showing their true feelings about him. Okay. Yep. So I feel like we are playing things in reverse. I could tell you right now that not everybody that is a WWE fan is behind Roman Reigns. Okay, now listen. Just because I'm not 100% sold into him doesn't mean I don't support him. Doesn't mean I don't support the WWE and what they're trying to do. I'm encouraged by that. But when you talk about the face of the company, you have to have the it factor to everything. And at the end of the day, it is not a heel that makes the face of the company.
I mean, I disagree with that. I think it should be a heel or a baby face. Why can't it be just a baby face? Why? Because it has bass in it?
No. Because he's the guy who is representing the company. WWE has it where only one person goes out there all the time, majority of the time, right? To represent and speak on behalf of the company. You need to be loved everywhere.
So, John Cena wants to do one thing before he's done with wrestling, right? If he does that one thing, is he still the face of the company?
Oh,
Because he would be.
John Cena is no longer the face of the company. The moment he left to go to the movies, he's not. I mean, the torch was passed on. You and I know that.
And the torch was given to Roman.
Wrong person to give it to. So, no, but here's this. Okay. Here's what I'm trying to say. Here's where things that get a little confusing. John Cena, Roman Reigns. Let's walk through it. He's beaten the beast, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's beaten the game, right? He's beaten Goldberg. He's beaten the Dead Man. He's beaten John Cena, right?
Nope.
That's a lot of hats to carry. Right?
Yeah.
Let me put it this way. When you look at I'm going to ask you a question I asked a while back. When you look at the WWE, when you think of Roman, who is your Shawn Michaels in WWE?
Why does it have to be like that?
Just answer my question. Who's your Shawn Michaels in WWE?
I don't even know.
Okay, well, I would say maybe AJ Styles. Right? Keeps getting back for more.
Yeah.
Who was Bret Hart in the WWE after Bret Hart left? Shawn Michaels.
Yep.
I'm not saying that. Okay, so who is your Triple H?
A dude that will do anything to win.
Yeah, who goes that far? Kevin Owens?
Kevin Owens, yeah.
No, Austin Theory? I mean, I'm serious. Who will go to the extra model one?
Seth Rollins.
But isn't Seth okay? Seth Rollins? Fair enough. Who is your Undertaker? Locker room leader. Roman Reigns?
Roman Reigns.
Okay. Who's your John Cena?
Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns carries multiple hats.
Okay. So you're saying Roman Reigns carries multiple hats.
Yeah.
What does that leave for the rest of the company?
That's your own problem. They need to step up.
No, okay, so do you understand what I'm trying to tell you?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm trying to say is that it's great. Roman Reigns he can wear multiple hats, but he can't be wearing multiple hats. The reason why I'm asking you who's who today is because it's the same question when these guys were in the company. Who were those prior to them, right? They all play a significant role on putting this show together. You got to have different characters. You're telling me that Roman Reigns is a Brock Lesnar, John Cena, and Undertaker, who are three big entities to this sports entertainment, correct?
Yeah.
But at the same time, Trey, you're telling me that they can't be sport. You can't have one guy carry that same hat and carry that same role. You got to have multiple guys. Who do you see Drew McIntyre as then?
Oh, I forgot about him.
There you go. Well, let's get one better. What about your man, Bobby Lashley?
I'm gonna say he's the beast. He's a monster.
But you understand what I'm trying to point out?
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm not saying that these guys have to imitate their career. What I'm saying is that these guys or these characteristics has to be in place, right?
Mm-hmm.
You passed on. Okay, well, you passed on the torch from Hulk Hogan to The Rock. It took 10 years after John Cena was already in the company, in the face of the company, for The Rock and John Cena, for John Cena to get passed on the torch. At the same time, which, by the way, John Cena was headed out of the company anyways. Why are we doing the same thing with Roman Reigns?
I don't know.
Why is WWE making that mistake for the fourth time already, or third time? So, Hulk Hogan and The Rock was gone, what, a year or two later?
Yep.
John Cena and The Rock, John Cena was gone within like 3 to 4 years. How long will Roman Reigns last after this pass on the torch? I mean, John Cena passed on the torch last year. So
yeah.
2-4 years Roman Reigns has done then?
I think it's going to be sooner than that.
Is that enough time? Because now you're trying to build up somebody new. You should already had. Now, you look at some of these other guys. Yeah, Seth Rollins could be a face of the company. Bobby Lashley could be. Drew McIntyre could be. And sometimes they should be. I don't think there's a clear image on where the WWE lies with their face of the company. The reason why you want a baby face is because whenever that person goes out to speak at a public event or at a venue, like, the Today Show and whatnot, you need to have someone that is a good, energetic person. Roman Reigns fits that bill. I'm not saying he's not the face. He's not potentially could be the face of the company. I just don't see him there yet because I feel like the WWE has forced the hand. When you're the face of the company, you need to let the fans choose. Right? They already do, the WWE already makes you choose whether you like someone or not.
Yeah.
In the WWE, the face of the company, the face of the franchise needs to be someone that the fans choose. Someone they could get behind on for years. WWE has forced the bloodline down our throats. I'm not saying it hasn't worked. I'm just saying you have not allowed me to choose. So if you're asking me to choose, taking away the fact that Roman Reigns has been forced, right? Then it's not Roman Reigns.
Fair enough.
You could choose Roman Reigns, but I know you're choosing Roman Reigns, Trey, because the WWE gave it to him on a silver platter and you enjoy every minute of it.
I've always been a fan of Roman.
I'm not saying I'm not a fan of Roman. I'm not saying I'm not a fan of Roman. You see me plenty of times with his t-shirts. Okay? But I don't know if he's there yet. I feel like he's forced to be there. And now you're throwing him like a Goldberg, or not a Goldberg, Brock Lesnar, part-time talent. At some point, his appearance is not just good enough. I am not buying in to him just showing up on a show, say acknowledge me, and that's it. He needs more. I need more. I need a fighting champion. Right?
Yeah. And when Roman is gone, a fully part-timer, I'm going to say Cody Rhodes will be the next face. Cody
Yes.
or Theory.
Yes.
But also, never mind. Austin Theory can't be the face because he's a heel. Remember your little
Maybe he's the
shenanigans
one.
that you had?
Yeah, you're right. Maybe he can beat Roman Reigns as a face.
Yeah. Him as a face is going to be ridiculous.
So what do you think? Gosh, I didn't expect to spend 47 minutes on Roman Reigns.
What do you expect? He's the man of the company.
No, he's not. He's a boy. He's a boy of the company. That he allows everyone else to do his dirty work for him.
I get that all the time.
So
One day.
what does kind of changing a little bit up moving forward? Look at that, Johnny Elite joining AEW Dynamite. I was a little shocked to see that on Wednesday.
Yes.
What do you think about that?
I was too thrilled about it.
Did Tony Khan say we have a big announcement to make?
Yes. And he's already hinted at it.
What?
There's going to be new titles debuted at All Out.
Double or Nothing?
Yeah, that's it. New titles.
For what? The 6-man, the trio tag titles?
Yep.
Okay, at what point does tag title just become too much? 3, 4, 5,
By the way, I found out who Humberto and Angel faced.
Yeah.
They faced the Club.
There's no club in WWE.
And there is now.
Are they calling them the Club?
Yep.
AJ and Finn Balor.
Yes, and
that's actually a good tag team title, tag team faction.
There's actually a third member of that group now.
Really? Liv Morgan.
Yep. She officially joined on Monday.
Well, that's good. What do you think about that? I like that.
I'm liking it. I really am. But if the rumors are true, the Club is going to need some more people.
Bring back Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson.
Yeah.
Or
Courtney's what?
Well, I was just gonna say that there were a month or two ago speculations of WWE signing a whole bunch of people.
Really?
So I don't know.
Well, Edge has been all over Facebook, not Facebook, but social media, right, teasing 2 new people.
Who else is going to join? Could it be Naomi and Sasha Banks?
He teased Ciampa.
Okay.
And he's teased Paige.
Is she coming back for in-ring work though?
I don't know. I mean, I would hope so.
I mean, what's nice is that you don't have to do it forever. Like, you don't have to be out there every week. Ciampa, I can see. That would be a good fraction. When is Beth Phoenix going to get involved?
Honestly, I think she should be joining.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's got the look. She could fit the bill to join Judgment Day.
Does she have is she someone just more as a manager role, part-time manager role? That is
I think-
only strictly about the females.
I mean, I feel like if Paige joins, I think if she does not wrestle, she will be the quote unquote manager, whatever, of maybe Rhea Ripley.
Right. I like that. Who else can join? I mean, okay. So you're seeing Judgment Day. I guess here's my. All right, let me ask you this. Do you see Judgment Day at one point by the end of the year taking over the titles?
Yes. Yes,
Who
I
does
do.
Roman lose to, though?
Damien.
Really? Or does the titles go off of? Does the titles go off of Roman to like Drew McIntyre?
I don't think they'll be facing Roman. I think they'd be facing.
Right, because you don't want Judgment Day to be facing the Bloodline.
Right.
Not right now. Okay, so let me ask you this. I heard this. I know that there's a movement that Drew McIntyre is working on. He wants to bring back the European Championship. Does that happen by the end of the year?
I mean, there's so many people who wants to bring back titles.
Only thing right now is I got Cody wanting to bring back the original WWF Championship.
Yeah.
Which I'm cool with. The European title, I say yes, but it depends on the direction that the WWE goes in. Because I don't want that title just to sit around forever on someone's shoulders. But he wants to retire the title.
Right.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I heard rumors of maybe Cody Rhodes getting his hands on the Intercontinental Championship. And he wants to bring back his title.
Does you want to bring like the old original black and gold one? Or the white and gold?
The white one. That's the one that he brought in when he was Intercontinental Champion.
I like that one. I really just like the original black and gold one.
I just wish that they would get rid of like the top belts, like the ones the Romans having, and bring back the big gold belt, like the one that's sitting behind you.
Like I mentioned, one of the biggest problems that they have, Roman has two titles. That's one's supposed to be for Raw and one's supposed to be for SmackDown. Mm-hmm. Which means that Roman should be on both shows. Like I said, if you combine the titles, which you should, and have a title on Raw, everything that Roman just got done working for goes to wayside. Out the window. Right? Because the whole purpose of winning that title and unifying those titles was because the fact of Roman, sitting there and wanting to be the best of the best. I'm that great. I'm going to have two titles, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's one reason. Now you're doing the same thing to the tag titles. Now, do I think that the titles need to change a little bit? Yes, I think the titles need to change. I agree with that. But at the same time, Trey, get rid of the 24/7 title. Should make that just a cruiserweight title.
They tried that before.
Who says that the females can't have a cruiserweight title?
Right.
Cruiserweight title could be for the females and for the cruiserweight division. Yeah?
I mean, they've already tried to bring that back, and it failed.
Yeah, because they strictly did that to the cruiserweight division only. What I would do, okay, so a part of me will sit here and say, all right, let's have a title for Raw, have a title for SmackDown. Or you know what? Screw it. Just to have one title that goes back and forth. Have a tag title that goes back and forth. Have a Raw and a SmackDown title. Have a US title and the IC title. And you could have the women's title that goes back and forth. I don't know. I mean, I just don't want to have too many title belts.
Right. And I feel like there's already too many, and they can't even defend them.
They don't even defend them as is. It's not like they can't. They're not trying.
I mean, I hate to say this, but get rid of the tag team titles of the women's. I mean, bring in a, like you said, a cruiserweight title. They're not defending them tag team titles. They're more focused on Bianca and Ronda right now.
You know what you can do? I just thought of this before we end our show. You can create a women's championship that goes back and forth between Raw and SmackDown, like the top of the top, the best of the best. And then you also create a Raw and SmackDown's title who play the undercards of that main title, like what Roman Reigns does. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm thinking. And have the main title for WWE as the men and the women's. Have a men and women's, main title. And then have just a title or two underneath. Because that way, those main titles for both brands can still be promoted on both brands properly. So, like, the IC title, the US title be for the main event, right? For both Raw and SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could bring in the European title once in a while. Or even the, a cruiserweight title. Or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then kind of lift everything up. Because that way, whoever's holding the main titles for the women's and men's division, right, ain't having themselves a problem. Like, they don't have to defend it every week. But yet again, you still have action to give on these shows. And you're also highlighting the main event on these shows, the US title and the IC title, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, something to think about. But it's going to get hot today.
It is.
I'm not really looking forward to it.
It's already feeling like 83 degrees.
It's 82 outside right now. So, all right, Justin and Trey will return tomorrow, high noon to 2. That's Trey. I'm Justin. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Enjoy your Friday.
Peace.
And get some sleep.
Yeah.
Go back to bed, Trey. You guys take care.
Actually leaving.